Well, we just spoke with the folks at the Winnipeg Comedy Festival about how laughter can really be such a great medicine for all of us. And it's a medicine you might want to tune into right now, because the headline that emerged out of the States this week is this: loneliness could be killing some of us. According to the U.S. Surgeon General, widespread loneliness in the U.S. poses health risks as deadly as smoking up to 15 cigarettes daily. So this is the message from an 81-page report from Dr. Vivek Murthy, who said that loneliness is a common feeling for many. It's like hunger or thirst. It's a feeling the body sends us when something we need for survival is missing. People in America, and I would say this is right across the world, might be struggling in the shadows, and that's not right. That's why he says he put out this advisory to sort of talk about the struggle that too many people are experiencing. Our guest now is Dr. Fahmi Farah, a medical expert and invasive cardiologist based in Texas, and CEO and president of the Bentley Heart Center. Good morning, Dr. Farah.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I have to say, when I heard that this was as bad as smoking, I was shocked. What was your reaction?
It was actually not surprising for me. As a cardiologist, we've known for quite some time that depression and anxiety, some mental health disorders, can cause heart disease and increase mortality rate in a person. And loneliness is one of the key factors that leads to depression and mental health disorders.
How do you measure that? Because I think a lot of us are so used to looking at, our diet or what we might be eating, or whether or not we're getting a lot of exercise, and not thinking about that emotional exercise, so to speak. How do you measure whether loneliness may or may not be impacting someone's life?
There is no, one metric to measure it by, really. And you said some key things, like, your lifestyle, so what you're eating and exercise. It is part of it. So someone who is lonely, who doesn't have a partner to come home to, the quality of life really suffers because they're less motivated to live in a healthy way. So they're not going to feel like, preparing the healthy meal for themselves. For the most part, people who are lonely and not feeling well, depressed, they're going to stick to whatever's there, like in the pantry or in their freezer, or just order in, and those are not usually healthy choices. Similarly, they're going to be less motivated to work out. They're just not going to have that drive to go for a walk. So these things actually, it's multifactorial. It impacts your overall well-being. It prevents you from being able to do healthy things and make healthy choices. And as a result, eventually it plays a huge role in your overall mortality rate by increasing risk factors for things like heart attack and stroke.
So obviously, as an invasive cardiologist, you know the inner workings of the heart extremely well. When we contacted you earlier this morning, you were just wrapping up a surgery. And so you get the physics of the heart. But I'm curious how often you now ask the question to a patient, not just looking at blood pressure, not looking at just blood flow, cholesterol, but do you ask questions like, how often do you get out there? Do you live alone? Do you have family that comes visit? Are those now part of the things that you might have on a checklist?
We do, actually, yes. It's not something that's standardized, so it's not something that you have to do. But in my practice, I definitely incorporate that because I know how important it is. As physicians, we can just look at the problem itself. Like if somebody's coming in with chest pain, we'll just give them medicine and see if they have a blockage. But I don't think our job ends there. I completely agree with Surgeon General in the sense that we do need to go a step further and ask them about their social environment. Do they have the support at home? And if they don't, then implement in some ways to guide them where can they go and how can they improve the social aspect of life, because it just plays such a huge role in terms of how well they're going to do with compliance even. Like, if somebody's depressed and they're living by themselves and they're lonely, their motivation to take the medication we prescribe is low. So they're not going to be very compliant. So it's huge. It affects every part of healthcare, I believe.
Yeah, it's all intertwined, and I don't think we can stress that enough. I've unfortunately run out of time, but I'd love to have you back at some point if you'd be willing. I appreciate you getting in touch with us.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. So just let me know.